All right, today we're going to take a look and see if we were able to figure out what was the longest chain. So I get my highlighter all set and ready to go. First problem that I have here, I'm going to remember that a chain has two ends. I'm going from here to here to here. That's a grand total of 5. All right, maybe I should use a different colored pencil. 5. Okay, going to the second problem. Second problem. All right. Remember, we can either go like this. That would be one option, or we can go like this. Either way, it's still going to get us the same name. I like straight lines, just preference, no biggie. But basically, that's my longest chain, and I have to remember 3. Moving on to the next problem that we have here. All right. Remember what we said the other day, that this is an H and this is an H, so that is not connected to that other carbon. If I start at the end, I can go like this, and this kind of looks like a little bit of a chair, and that is what I'm left with. All right, so notice I'm putting a line through the main chain, and I'm putting a circle around anything that is extra. Okie doke. Going to our next picture, picture number 4. This is what I'm going to have. I'm going to have, it almost looks like a little bit of a chair. I believe there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is 7 in that particular picture. So we're going to write down 7 here. All right, going to problem number 5. This looks like it's going to make the outline of an S. That has 7 as well. Next picture. Again, I like straight lines. So it turns out even if you went like this, you get 4. I'm not a big fan of that, just because, I don't know, whatever. But this will be easier to see. This is what I'm going to have here. Main chain, I have 2 branches. Okay, kind of like the human body. You know, you have 2 arms right there. Okay, number 7. We're going to take a look at it. It could go either like this, and that would get you the same number as this. Whatever you prefer. I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to circle that. Please make sure you're circling these because it's going to help us with naming. In a moment, we're going to do naming. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a 3-piece. So there's 3 on number 8. Going to number 9, I'm going to look at it like this. And that's a branch right there. Now we go to number 10. Oh boy. Looks like I have things that are other than carbons on this chain. I'm going to circle these. Sorry, I couldn't fit that around the circle. That has to be off of the main chain. So I'm going to start my chain right here, and I'm going to go like that. That is a 5 carbon chain, guys, okay? All right, we always want to be on the lookout for weird things. Again, here's a weird thing right here. This has to be off of the main chain. So I have to start with this carbon, and if I do a straight line going right across, I wind up with a branch here and a branch here. All right, going to the top. Now I'm going to show you today how to name. So going up to the tippity top up here, how do you name 5 carbons singly linked? Well, I'm using tables P and Q, remember, tables P and Q. So 5 carbons is a pent. So that's where I'm going to get, sorry about that. This is where I'm going to get pent. I'm going to erase that 5 because now we got the pent covered. Since there is single linkages on every single one of these, you don't have to circle these, but I'm just trying to illustrate where I'm getting the suffix from. It's either an ane, an een, or an ine, according to table Q. I'm going to call it an ane because it has single bonds. That's all I have to do to name that first one, pentane. In this next one, the main chain is 3 carbons. So 3 carbons is a prop. How did I know it was a prop? Because 3 matches prop on table P. Single bonds, that gives me the ane. Now backtracking, right here, if I was labeling this, I'd call that a methyl. Methyl, I have to indicate where is that methyl, that weird thing, hanging. It's hanging off of carbon number 3. Well, some folks might ask me, what if you numbered it the other direction, Mr. Z? Would you get the same exact number? And the answer is, you should. Because if I number it this way, it's still 2-methylpropane. Going to our next problem that's here. We're going to take a look, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is pent. That's the name of the main chain. Pentane. All right, there is a methyl right here. All right, that methyl is hanging off of carbon 1, 2, 3. And that's where that one is. Going to number 4. Number 4 we said was 7 carbons. So 7 carbons is going to give me heptane. Heptane. That's going to be hanging off of carbon number 3, that methyl group. So I would label anything that you see on there that's kind of strange. All right. Number 5 is just going to be heptane. I'm going to indicate that A. Make that A. Sorry, sometimes my stylus is not the best in the world. Okay, 4 carbons in the main chain is going to be a bute. It's an ane because they are single bonds. This here is a methyl. This here is a methyl. And kind of like if you look at it as if it was a human being, like here we go. Let's just make this into a human being, right? And we'll put little feet on the guy, and we'll put a little happy face on him, you know. Right? If we looked at this as a human being, that right there is a hand, right? That would be like the guy's hand. This would be the other guy's hand. These are not one, they're individual branches. So instead of calling it methyl-methyl, I'm going to say that I have 2 branches by using the word dimethyl. Now, where are they located? If I name this carbon number 1 and this carbon number 2, this carbon number 3 and number 4, this would be 2, 2. Now, students generally ask me, why do I put 2 numbers? Because if the methyl group, say for instance, this was my chain, and this is where we're currently looking at. Let's say we move this down just to one spot right here. That would be a 2,3 dimethylbutane. So that's the reason why we have to have a number for each individual spot that we have circled. You'll notice every time I circle something, I'm going to have a number for that. So if I go to number this chain, most of the action is towards the top of the chain. So numbering this chain, I'm going to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a heptane. Okay, there is a dimethyl. And the dimethyl is off the 2 and the 4. So 2,4-dimethylpentane. Next one, this one's just propane. That's it. Done. I'm not even going to bother writing that. All right. And then the next one that we have here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an octane. Let me just make sure I counted that correctly. 3, 6, 8. It is an octane. There is a methyl. Now, 2 ways we could number it. We could start up here with number 1, but because the action's more towards the bottom of this chain, I'm going to number it this way. That'll give me the lowest numbering scheme possible to tell me that's 3-methyl octane. All right, going off to the last couple that we have here. Oh boy. Well, how do I handle a Cl, a Cl, a Cl? Is that the same thing as C? No, it's not. That right there, guys, is a chloro. How did I know it was a chloro? I went to table R. That right there is a chloro. It is not a carbon. And that right there is a chloro. So I have a chloro, and a chloro hanging off of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon chain. Again, 5 carbon chain is a pentane. I know that I got chloros hanging off this pentane. I know that I have 3 of them. That's where I'm getting the try. And what position, what position, what position? A 1, a 1, and a 1. That's how we handle multiples like that. Again, another one on table R. Looking at table R right here. If it has an OH hanging off the chain, go to table R and take a look. You're looking for the functional group OH. You'll notice that it's an alcohol. How do they handle an alcohol? Simple. You're using the prefix of the main chain, which the main chain right here is a but. There are single bonds, so butane. And instead of calling it butane, I'm going to snip off the end, boop, get rid of that E, and make it all. Well, where is the all hanging out? That right there is an alcohol. It's hanging off carbon number 1. That's why it's 1-butanol. Now you might be saying, what am I going to do with this? And what am I going to do with this? Well, you have 2 methyls. Same thing you did before. You're going to write methyl. You're going to put a die in front of it, indicating that you have 2 of them. And where? Right there. Right there. I'm saying it twice so that we realize that everything that's circled. Now check this out. There's a number, there's a number, there's a number. If we take a look, this number reflects where that is hanging out. That thing is an alcohol. This right here indicates that it is a branch. Di means that I have 2 of them. And where would they be? They're off carbon number 2 and carbon number 2. There's carbon number 2, and there was carbon number 1. Hopefully that was helpful, guys.